Hello, and welcome to season 3 of Super Pros Bros. I'm player 2, Eli, and with me, as always, is.
Player one, Ike, and Chef Broardi. Did you know that this pod is on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify?
I did not, Professor. Are those the same places that people could
Like,
comment
share?
and subscribe?
You know what? Neato burrito.
Dope.
So, speaking of dope things, what's been going on with ya?
I'd say much continued existing. I've dared dabble back into the world of dating people, which is something I haven't had to do, basically ever.
Yeah.
With mixed results. Um, got almost stood up by somebody on Friday night.
The
They were
audacity. Wait, almost stood up?
they were half an hour late.
It's pretty late.
That's very late. Um, and yeah, it's like it was not fun. They were not interesting. It was getting blood from a stone.
And they were late on top. Nice.
Yeah, and they were late. Like, fuck's sake. The worst part is, like I said, I will be a couple minutes late because traffic is traffic and it's Seattle. So what are you gonna fucking do? The problem is they were around. They were just in a different fucking store, and they just didn't let me know.
Wow.
So they could have just, I don't know, checked their phone or just thought like a couple minutes late, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll even give you 15. Fucking 35.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially when it's not like traffic or something, and you could have been like, "Hey, this bookstore is captivating. You want to come join me? I'll be there in a minute." But
that is actually where they went. Is it's like in the place we're going is in a mall, and it's got like a bookstore, like a big ass bookstore, dope bookstore, honestly. It's got like a food court in it too. Shit's awesome, but it's 3 doors down. It's fucking
what were they
30 seconds away.
At before?
Like, the annoying thing to me is that like after this, just sitting awkwardly having a drink for like 45 minutes and them being late, and then like they want things to continue, and I'm like, no, and I didn't have the heart to just be like, listen, you were fucking late, disrespected my time, and I've had to force conversation so hard here. I don't care.
Were they like Wednesday number 2?
Huh?
Pretty much. Did they ask for like a follow up, or were they like
pretty much like
wow?
They just like, oh, for fuck's sake, like.
Did you just text them later? Did you say it to their face?
I just haven't said anything to them. I just said I'm not feeling it tonight, and just like, you know what, it just left. Like we're I'm assuming they fucking get the memo. Like, just yeah. If they weren't half an hour late, maybe. But that is I don't like when someone has that little respect for my fucking time.
Feel that?
Yeah.
Especially with no apology, right? They just like sauntered up. They're like, "Hey,"
like, and their rationale was like, sorry, I was looking for a bathroom. There's a bathroom in the place we were meeting.
Also, 35 minutes late because you couldn't find a bathroom.
Yeah, like what?
You're in a fucking mall.
A, that. B, there's a bathroom in the place we're meeting. C, 35 minutes. What does a couple minutes mean to you?
I had to unleash the bowling ball.
Yeah, like what fucking 5-day constipation shit are you trying to get rid of? Yeah, what elephant crap are you dropping in some poor toilet somewhere? Like, my god. The other, I would say, the one other like date I've gone out on, also the same place. This place also slaps, Isaac.
Where's this place?
This place is called the Vulpine Tap Room. It's a little fucking kind of nerdy bar near me. I liked this place immediately because I walked in and they were playing Piano Black.
Nice.
I was just like, I know what song this is.
Yeah, you and basically everybody. It's 4.9 reviews. That is
place is dope. It's got a great vibe to it. Yeah, I was just immediately sold. I was like, oh yeah,
Daddy's
stuff. Yeah, I found my people. But the first time I went there, and they were actually pretty cool, and I don't see things going particularly anywhere like a romantic context, but they were at least fucking interesting, and they were gonna be late, and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna be 15 minutes late." Okay, I can work
this
with
was
that.
this is the previous date you had at this establishment.
Yeah, like a week ago.
Yeah.
So
Putting numbers on the board. Good for you getting back out there. Sorry, what is this? Has this been your second step into the dating pool, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Say,
hopefully it doesn't curb your interest in dating as much as it's.
I mean, we're batting kind of 50, so we're batting 500. It's not terrible.
Batting
not...
500 in dating is fucking like, and unless you are spending a shit ton of time like proofing who you're gonna go on a date with and like deciding I feel like that's a pretty strong ratio of like acceptable, non-acceptable.
Not gonna dissuade me. Well, I guess I'm batting 330. I was supposed to meet someone. Someone wanted to meet last weekend. Like, hey, I can't. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, okay. I was like next weekend, Sunday. Like, okay, cool. That's why I was gonna go to breakfast. And you fucking cancel it. I'm like, okay. Like, I can meet later in the day. And I'm like, okay. Where and when would you want to meet? Like, I'm free in the afternoon. All right, fuck you. Like, you can't. Like, I'm willing to reschedule.
Yeah.
But if you can't fucking offer some engagement and some back and forth, go fuck yourself. So I went ahead.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, so I went and had breakfast this morning because I had it in my mind. I'm like, I fucking want to go to Maltby though. Like, I still want breakfast. So I went this morning with Alex Massacre. That was a good. They still make way too much food. I now have lunch.
Breakfast. Oh, is this the cinnamon roll place?
Uh-huh.
I sussed it out.
Oh yeah.
The clues. They were there.
Fucking Alex. He's like, he's like, I want to eat light today, and I'm like, you're in the wrong place.
Sir, this is
like I was like, all right, there's one of two ways that happens. One, like, you take things home to go box, and he's like, that's quitter talk. I'm like, okay.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Sure. But dude, they serve portions, they're like the size of my head. You know how big my head is.
It is not small.
This place does not fuck about with their serving size. They want to kill you. And he used the customary thing where he orders one of those cinnamon rolls for the table. That was my second thing. I'm like, the don't order a cinnamon roll for the table. He's like, no, we have to. And I'm like, then you're not having a light breakfast.
Yeah,
Alex.
then that's all you're having, and you're not having a light breakfast.
So I can't wait to check back with him. Like, how you doing, buddy? How's that food coma?
All right, I need to figure out when we last spoke for what my. When was our last recording? Or do you have anything else? Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, I mean, otherwise I've been sitting around playing a lot of Last Epoch, and I'm excited that competitive league is starting back up. So.
All right, so last we spoke, I had just returned from Denver, right?
Yes.
Okay. So returned from Denver. The next week I kind of had like a little bit of a freak out because I was going to play this tournament and I couldn't figure out a deck I liked. And I forgot the reality of the situation of you enjoy this game and like not always being like the best at it is okay. Like bringing your like C game is like acceptable. Nobody's judging you. It's like fine. You can suck. And so like for part of a week in a therapy session, I was like, but I'm gonna be terrible. And people are like, dude, it's gonna be okay. Or you can, just not play if it's not gonna bother you much. But I'm like, I spent $100. I have to do this thing that I'm likely gonna hate. They're like, Isaac, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, needless to say, I got second in the event and won $8,000. Because
damn.
When the whole entire week prior, I was having like a fit.
So clearly, you just need to fucking absolutely panic.
It's panic. Yeah. It was, looking back, it is just another proof that where I have grown as a human being via therapy, via talking to friends, and like kind of getting a better understanding of the world I live in.
Maturity.
And maturity and whatnot. Also, still have a long way to go.
So do most people.
Yeah. No, it's just like funny. Every time I'm like, I'm doing it. My somewhere between the world and my brain go, no. You're not done doing it yet. You've got lots to do. Like every time I'm like proud of how far I've come, or I'm like buttoning up that top button, doing that like side stare in the mirror, like, oh yeah. I get reminded by my own predilections most of the time how much of a numpty I am and how much I am in need of growth, like continual growth. Not that I haven't grown, but that like there's still plenty that I've cleaned up the bathroom and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I walk out, it's like, oh yeah, the rest of the house is still a fucking mess. You're not done yet, champ. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I feel it. Unironically, I feel that about cleaning bathrooms, I got way too excited that I cleaned them, and I walked into my kitchen. I'm like, fuck the dishes.
It is really satisfying. It is funny though, in our 30s to like clean something and be like, oh yeah. Where like
Yeah, bro,
in
vacuuming? Oh,
just finish this vacuuming. I believe I deserve a prostitute. I've done great work.
I need to change my pants. There's something very satisfying about just because I have so many pets that there's so much fur that when I vacuum, the vacuum is like, oh please, dear Jesus. So dumping out the mountain of like dust and fur and sand and shit. Oh, yeah, like yeah, this was in the carpet. It's not. Ah,
I have done it. I have sanctified.
I'm doing God's work over here.
Anyway, so got back. This was this last weekend. So got back. Just won $8,000. Qualified for the Pro Tour. Which hey, guess where that is?
You must know that I don't know.
It's in Seattle, bitch.
Oh,
I'm coming to you, motherfucker.
Is that the Seattle event? Okay.
It is the Seattle event.
Okay.
So I will be seeing you in April. But qualified for that, won $8,000. Got to have a great moment. Lots of people were proud of me. I'm gonna skip ahead before I skip back a little bit if there's anything I can think to talk. Oh yeah, there's something else I want to talk about. But I come back, immediately go play an event with the homies in Los Angeles. It's a 4-round event. It doesn't matter. It's just for fun. I went 2-2 and I was quite pissed. I just won $8,000 like less than 24 hours prior, and still I need it all. Like, what the fuck? Again, still plenty of room to grow, Isaac. You're not done cooking. You need about 9 more goes in the oven. Maybe.
Nah, let him cook.
Seriously. No. Please don't pull me out. I need to cook a lot more. But prior to leaving, this is the cherry on top of leaving Chicago. So get to Chicago, have a great time, overeat a time or two. Chicago, by the way, if you're listening, the city, learn how to cook your fucking eggs. I had 3 egg dishes while they were there, and they all sucked ass. I am a basic bitch of a man, and I like my eggs. Get your fucking shit together. Okay, so it was so bad. I had 3 different egg dishes. They were not cheap. They were not like $1, and they were all tepid as crap. I was embarrassed and sad.
I'm ashamed for you.
It was okay. So other than overeating and having mediocre egg dishes, mostly went well. Got to have a also Chicago's called the Windy City for a reason. Jesus Christ. That shit cuts like a knife. Say what?
I was like, at least that's just truth in advertising.
Is spot on. So there are cities out there that have, honorifics or titles, or what would you call that? Catchphrase isn't quite right.
I guess titles.
Yeah, they've got a thing about them. Some of them a little bit absurd. Some of them stupid, like Denver, the Mile High City. Neat. Like it's such a geological stupid junket. But Chicago, the Windy City, dead on. Holy Christ. It was cold. I'm standing out there. It's snowing. It's looking pretty. I was in Chinatown, so it actually kind of looked like the end of Kill Bill. Yes, I know they were in Japan, but it's coming down through this Asian architecture. It looks gorgeous. I'm like, damn, am I gonna fight some 88 motherfuckers up in this joint? No, I'm just gonna have a delicious Chinese dinner. Okay, cool. But then
But
I'm
we were
looking at
open
it.
to
It's
the other
kind of
one.
what?
But we were open to the other one.
I'm
What?
not open. I just wanted to be ready if it was gonna happen. What ready means, I have no idea. Picking up a
If
fucking trash
someone
can lid.
comes at me with the flail, I'm just going down swinging.
Yeah, I'm gonna
What?
go down quickly swinging, but I'm gonna swing once probably.
With that attitude, bitch.
So it's got a pepper in, bitch. Uh, but I walked out into the street. Like I took one step away from the like underhang, and the wind hit me. It felt like it dropped 30 degrees.
Whoa.
It bites so cold when that wind comes through, and that wind comes correct. Like it came direct. It was like, yo, I'm gonna fuck your daughter. I'm like, Jesus. Like it just like came at me. Oh, fucking ah. So lived up to its name. Congrats, Chicago. You can do that well. Eggs, might want to work on that. When I initially got there, also, I forgot this. I ran into the most idiotic taxi driver, which fuck taxis forever. I know Lyft and Uber aren't perfect. They need to treat their employees better. Taxis suck. You deserve to die. Like, please stop existing. You guys are awful in every direction. A guy picks me up. I walk out. I'm like, yo, can I get a taxi? I just need to go like 2 miles to go to a dispensary. I have sleeping issues. I need to get some edibles.
Sure.
And he goes, where do you need to go? And I show him my phone that has the address and it shows it on the map. And he goes, I can't read that. And I am 4 feet away from him. I should have taken that as a sign and just left. But I doubled down and read it out loud. And he put it in, put on his glasses. We get to driving. He, of course, and this might have been real or might have been fake. Either way, he can go fuck himself. He got lost driving 2 miles from the airport to a fucking strip mall. I wasn't trying to go to a dungeon underneath a bridge. I was trying to go to a mall near a theater. Like it's a place he 1,000% has taken people for. And he's like, I can't find it. I'm like, just stop. He goes, oh, but this isn't a good place. Stop. Get me the fuck out of your like riotous thieving shindig of a car. I'm gonna walk there. I don't care if I get mugged. At least they'll have taken my money honestly with a fucking knife. Supposed to this charade of, man, I can't find it. Like, fuck you. Then, to get thieved some more, I walked like half a mile because the guy drove us in the wrong direction once he got to the establishment-ish area. I walked through it, got there, got to the dispensary. In the city of Los Angeles, I bought a product that out the door would have cost me $22 without like a cost-saving measure.
Yeah.
Out the door, this was $50. Chicago, calm the fuck down when it comes to selling weed. You don't need to surcharge it that much. It was like the tax on it was like $10. I'm like, I'm just buying 10 fucking gummy bears. Fucking Christ. It was so much money. Also, I had to order it outside the room and then go in to pick it up. I couldn't go in there and point at it and be like, I'd like one of those, please. Nope, can't do that. Fucking another thing they just cannot do. Eggs and weed. They're lost. They need help. They need guidance. Portland, help out Chicago. Anyway, after that, it was all sky sailing other than overeating. Had great food. Had an amazing tournament run. Ended up finishing second to somebody that I think is awesome and I'm a huge fanboy of.
Nice.
They are the coolest person. Their name, they go by the acronym CFT SOC. Some people call them CFT SOC. I call them SIFT SOC. Their acronym stands for Combo for the Sake of Combo. That is the coolest fucking acronym name I've ever seen, and they live up to it in that the only decks I've ever seen them play are convoluted, awesome, absurd combo decks. And they're my hero. So I know you're not hearing this, but Zift, I love you so much. Tournament ends, go out, have dinner. It's a lovely night. Had the worst soda of my life. Route 66 soda. Never. Do not ever drink that unless you are missing out on like toilet cleaner or something. It is rancid. I have never almost spit out soda before. And I came damn close. But after that, the cherry on top. On Monday morning, I take an Uber to the airport, or a Lyft, because I like their politics better. So I take a Lyft to the airport. The guy that picks me up, I get in there. He's a kind of laid back, older black gentleman. He's just sitting in there. I get in the car. He goes, Isaac? I'm like, yeah, that's me. He goes, all right, let's go. So drive down the street. First stoplight, a girl walks across the street in Lululemon pants. And I cannot condone what he does next, but it was fucking awesome. She walks across the street, and he goes, ooh, you can look, but you can't touch, Jack. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm 5 feet with this guy. And he's just like, oh, remember, Jack? Mary, Jack. And it's like, this guy's awesome. Just has no filters, just saying everything that's coming into his mind in fucking third person. And he goes, you see that? And I was like, uh-huh. And he goes, what? Pretty good. I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah. We get driving on.
Dog.
And he tells me about, at one point, he tells me like how he goes, yeah, went out. I was like, he's like, where are you from? I was like, I'm from LA. He goes, oh, went out to LA once. Got a kilo of Coke. I was like, all right.
Oh my God.
He goes, yeah, we brought it back, we cut it up. I shit my pants. My partner threw up. That's when we knew we needed to wear a mask when we cut the Coke. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know if he's fucking with you or not. That's amazing.
It's amazing. The next tidbits made me think this guy was legit. I was like, yeah, so like, how'd you sell the Coke? He goes, oh, you got to cut with some baking soda. I was like, okay, like, what's your percentage cut? He goes, 85-15. I was like, well, that's a lot of baking soda. He goes, nah, that's the Coke. I was like, oh, okay.
Damn.
I was like, you don't worry about selling out. He goes, nah, I had the best shit. Everybody always came to me. It sold out. Never had to charge extra. He's like, in fact, saw an old client the other day at a funeral. I was like, was it his? He goes, nah, it was his mom's. God bless her. He came up to me looking for a fix at a funeral. I was like, oh my God. He goes, he's like, hey, Jack, got any crap for me, Jack? He goes, dude, it's your mom's funeral. I got shit.
Wait, you think he came loaded?
Yeah, exactly. Of the junkie, of course he did. He goes, this guy, born with a gold spoon in his ass. Grew up owning 4 houses. Now he only owns 1. It's just because his mom died. And that thing's like a matchbook. You could go, and it fall over. God damn it. I'm over here just fucking dying. And then I see on his phone, it says, he gets a call and it says, wife, all caps. Now, I respect what he did next, because there are 3 ways people do it. They either hang up the call, which is valid, but a little discourteous. There are people that do the worst option, which is they hang up the call and then text them while they're driving. Anybody that does that, fuck you. He answered the call. Oh, sure. He goes, so I gotta take this. I was like, dude, of course. Answered the call. First out of his mouth, he goes, hello, beautiful. She goes, is it just us? He goes, it's always you and me, baby. Ride or die. It's like, oh, all right, this is amazing. And she goes, anybody else listening? He goes, FBI don't care about me that much no more. We good. She, like, on the 5th iteration of, she just goes, is there anybody else in your car? And he goes, yeah, I'm at work. She's like, well, call me back after you drop him off. He goes, you got it, lovely. Just hangs up the phone. Like,
she was thirsty, apparently.
No, she just wanted to know if if she could like talk with him, like about personal matters. But she kept being like slightly cloak and dagger about it. Not really. I understood on the first one that she was like wanting to know if I or somebody else was listening, and he just like somewhere between wanted to have the conversation then and didn't care, and or didn't understand. Either way, it just ended up for this great relationship moment of who's on first, what's in your back seat. Like, it was fucking amazing. So he hangs that up and I was like, oh, how's the, like, whatever. He goes, yeah, been with her for 35 years. Almost broke that up today. I was like, oh? He goes, yeah, the right before you was this pretty little thing. Dropped her off and she leaned in the window and she's like, do you want to come upstairs? I'll suck your dick off your body. He's like, ooh, honey, that's 35 years too late. Now I got a shackling bone, 5 acres and a mule.
This fucker.
Which, if you don't get that reference, he's making the reference to the post-Civil War inclusion for African Americans, where they would get a plot of land and a donkey, which is fucking amazing.
Dude, who the fuck is this guy?
He's my fucking hero, is who he is. When he dropped me off, he goes, you don't have to worry about getting fast. I'm gonna stop. Need to go inside and take a shit. Like, pulled up in the drop off and just turned off his car and beat me inside.
This man is a legend.
Dude, I would pay so much extra next time I am in the godforsaken city of Chicago to have this man just drive me around. It's what I will pay double. You're not gonna hear this, Jack, but oh my god, if you do, we're gonna work it out. Oh man, this guy was an underrated superhero. So good. In fact,
I see what you did there.
Did you? All right,
I like it.
Grab
Good.
the wheel then, so I don't have to keep driving.
All right. The actually seamless segue that he used. So we're talking about underrated or overlooked powers or heroes or characters that their power, their gimmick, whatever makes them stand out or be unique among the cast of characters. We feel it is underutilized or underappreciated. Because there's, you've got your iconic, you got your Superman, you got your Goku, you got the big names, the big headliners. There's a lot of little guys that are pretty busted if you take the time to think about it. So, we're going to talk about that.
All right, do you want to start or should I?
I'll let you start.
So first up, we've got the butt of the joke, the laughing stock of Robot Chicken, Aquaman. Aquaman has gotten shit for years, and until recently, where he had Jason Momoa playing him and showing off those glutes, he was not appreciated nearly as much. Say what?
And every other muscle group.
And every other muscle group, but especially glutes.
Does have butt for days.
A gorgeous gigantus. So most of the time people don't realize that they're like, oh, he talks to fish, he can breathe underwater. Yeah, a lot more than that. He's got telepathic control over all aquatic life. Yeah, it's pretty fucking good. Imagine Magneto with killer whales.
Also, he can do that to you too. Like, he
really?
can telepathically compel people, and he could just kind of make your brain melt. Like,
pretty fucking busted.
He can do more than just telepathically command fish. It just isn't perfect with people, but it's strong enough he could just make people die.
He's also got superhuman strength, agility, blah, blah, blah. He's strong enough that in certain versions of the comics, he moves tectonic plates by himself.
Those are very heavy.
Those are a bit heavy, as they are the building blocks of the things we sit on. He also has hydrokinesis, which, taste it. The rainbow, in this case, a sea of water on your noggin. Guy's busted. Deserves a lot more love. Doesn't need to be hated on. He can do way more than go, here, fishy, fishy, fishy. And while we're still staying in the water, who you got up next?
Yeah. So in general, waterbending is a little underutilized in Avatar. I say that, and I get that it gets its representation in a lot of ways. But it doesn't have in many ways the same cataclysmic effect that like firebending or earthbending or to a degree like airbending could showcase having. Water is terrifying.
I'm scared of water.
Well, also like water is heavy. Like people don't think about it. Water weighs a ton. Water is an incredibly dense liquid.
Okay.
So when you just like, what is I can't think of like molecular mass right off the top of my head, or what like a liter weighs.
Okay.
But you know, if you hit somebody with just like, if you were to hit someone with a fire hydrant, they go ass over tea kettle really fast. Okay, I'm gonna hit you with 20 of those all at the same time. Like, there's also a lot of things that you could just do with water. Like they kind of explore some of it, like ripping water out of plants,
Blood bending.
effectively ammunition, blood bending. That one comes with caveats, so we'll leave that alone. But you can also affect like the consistency of water. They regularly turn things into ice. Okay, what if you turn things into steam and just cook someone? Like if you just effectively boiled the water and just flooded someone's room with it, well, suddenly they're burning to death. Fun. Like, you could also just super condense it and pressurize it, and you know what they'll cut rocks with? Yeah, water saws are a thing. I'll just take your arm
That's
off
how they
now.
make planes.
Yeah,
That's how they cut plane wings out of aluminum and
yeah.
steel. Is with yeah.
Guess what? Your arm less dense than a brick of aluminum.
Turns out.
Turns out, I just go and just rip it off. And then you could also just, if you freeze someone in a block of ice, they're gonna die too. Like,
are they able to freeze with waterbending? Is that like a?
Oh yeah, they do it all the time.
That's based on that.
They regularly shoot like icicles at people. They regularly swap like the water into ice. Whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of underutilized potential that can absolutely happen. I mean, I get they don't because it's a kids show, but
it's a kids show, and also, I mean, one of the beautiful things is that unlike our society that we live in, they knew that peace and not killing people was not good, or it was good to not kill people. Sorry, I said that backwards.
Yeah.
So like they had rules and laws against using it like as a weapon, like in a like offensive nature, like because to do that is like it is meant to like kill only. It is like the assault weapon variant of using your power.
Yeah. Just I mean, and they do. I would have thought about talking about airbending, except Aang stops a volcano with it, and Zahir literally pulls the air out of someone's lungs. And I'm like, no. That's pretty much showcased how badass it can be. I think it's good. That scene still, I don't like it. Anyway, moving on.
Next up, we've got from one of our favorite OG shows that kind of went a little off the rails, but in its heyday was Happy Making, the British version of Misfits. Do not watch the American version.
Also, don't watch posts like season 3.
Yeah, it's like season 2 or season 3. Whenever they change their powers, change the channel.
The people they introduced suck. The chemistry just felt bad.
Also, like having them change powers was kind of, I don't know. It was like a reboot of the show
it was an absolute betrayal to why they got powers in the first place, because their powers were emblematic of something about them.
Yeah,
and so they removed the kind of personal cohesion for each character with what they do.
Agree. So before that happens, though, during one of after the powers come out, everybody's got them, yada yada. There's a guy who gets the power for lactokinesis. He's able to control dairy products. How hilarious. Initially is like one of the first people to kind of be out about it. He's like showcased on TV, and it's kind of quaint. It's almost like a adorable sideshow.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
He is memed on hard.
Yeah, he gets fame and then a lot of memery, and it's kind of sad. And the way he takes it is, it's a villain arc. He gets angry. He's not respected. He's not appreciated. And then he starts to weaponize it. Turns out, pretty fucking hardcore too, because he can control the milk or the dairy products that are inside of you and do, I don't know, the fuck he wants to with it. Like, suffocate you. Like, make you brain dead because he can shove milk into your
Yeah,
fucking
he just
gray
puts some
matter.
cheese up into your amygdala. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It kills a lot of people really fast because you don't think about it, but you drank coffee. Oh, you put some cream in your coffee. He can now make that a bullet inside you.
Yeah. Pretty fucking
I,
badass.
I still love the response for like his kryptonite. It's just Curtis going, "I'm lactose,
I'm lactose
intolerant,
intolerant."
bitch."
The writing on that show was so good back then. Oh my god.
It really was.
And the way they stage it too, he's like, "I'm lactose intolerant," and the guy's like, "Fuck." And then I think he like pulls out a gun
He
or
pulls
like
like
a
a
knife.
knife.
Yeah, he's like, "Ah, shit." He came prepared for this.
He had a plan B. I mean, also Loki, if he could just control, he could just walk onto the wheel of cheese and just beat people to death with it. Which I
He
think
can
would have been
reenact
hilarious.
a more NC-17 rated version of the cheese rolling competition in Gloucestershire. Just rolling people down the hill with bricks
The
of cheese.
cheese rolls
effectively.
back.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just like to club someone upside that, or just like if you just hit someone with like a rocket propelled wheel of cheese, they're gonna go down. Like those things are heavy.
Yeah.
Just fucking wheel of brie. Pow.
Rocket propelled wheel of cheese.
That's a sentence. That is
Sounds
a
like
sentence.
a movie from the 50s. Look out,
some
children.
Shitty,
It's a
some
rocket
shitty B movie.
Jeez. All right, before we start riffing too much, what you got up next?
The more I think about it, I don't know that he necessarily belonged in here, but Spider-Man is a little bit slept on, or at least was. I think more modern era.
What he's able to do. I mean, the story you remember I remember you telling me about him fighting Iron Man in Civil War is like, I don't think people recognize his power set from that.
Yeah, like Spider-Man is always kind of thought of as just he's the little guy. Like, not really. Like, hey, Spider-Man is alarmingly smart. Like,
Yeah.
almost every iteration of Spider-Man is very, very fucking intelligent. Like Peter Parker, classic, super intelligent. He makes all his shit. Miles Morales, same kind of deal. Like, and Miles Morales is arguably even stronger than Peter Parker was because he has extra gimmicks. Like, he can just be invisible because fuck it. He can also paralyze people, like effectively deliver an electric shock to them because fuck it. Like Spider-Man can just get hit by a train and not like he can shrug it off decently. Cause why not? He could stop cars with his bare hands. He could kind of see the future. Like he has arguably the best danger sense in all of Marvel, which is outrageous. Like that is low-key the most OP thing about Spider-Man is nobody. I don't think there's anybody else I can think of off the top of my head in Marvel who has a danger sense like he does.
Yeah.
And
just I think they did like I think a bunch of years ago they did like a comparison of like DC characters versus like Marvel characters, and Spider-Man's one of the ones that kind of beat a lot of people, other than like Superman or like somebody that's like absurdly overpowered.
Yeah,
because it was like even I think he beat Batman because it's like Batman's gonna have all this and that. It's like yeah, but how do you beat the Spidey sense? It's so powerful.
It's like you never get to have the drop on him.
Yeah. It's impossible to have anything sneak up, and his reflexes are so fast that he's very likely to beat anything you're going to throw at him. Like, and there's a lot of shit he can just take. He's really fucking resilient.
He's remarkably resilient for just being like a teenager. Like,
yeah,
he'll just get thrown through buildings and just kind of shrug. Like, he's not going to like just punch Thor into submission probably, but he could take a hit from Mjolnir and like swing away.
Yeah.
And he's also just smarter than you for most of the part. Like he makes tech that is comparable to Iron Man's shit. Like
with a thousandth the budget.
Yeah, like you know,
he has no money.
Like, in his backyard in a cardboard box. Like,
But I mean, also his webbing is like underrated. People are like, oh, it's sticky. No,
it's got better tensile strength than steel.
Yeah.
Like
It's
spiderwebs are outrageous, and the fact you can just mass produce spiderwebbing, like if you were to get spiderweb that is as thick as yarn, you have a steel cable.
yeah,
So the fact that he can just casually wrap people up, he's effectively just wrapping people up in steel.
to the point where, if I remember correctly, he gets in a fight with Iron Man during Civil War, and
I think like I don't know that Civil War. I think it's like it might be Ultimate, but yeah, he
okay,
basically just glues Iron Man to the side of a building.
yeah, Iron Man, that guy that can shoot rockets, yeah, still lost to a spider.
Yeah, because he basically just went. Tony wants distance, and he just glued himself to him. Like he just kept grabbing a hold of Tony. He's like, "I'll beat you in a fist fight. I can beat your suit. I can't beat like all
Which
the
also,
missiles you can hit me with, but
let's wrap our mind around that. I can beat your suit.
yeah,
I'm stronger than your $1 billion mech that you've honed and worn for years and you've perfected.
yeah. It's like I can't beat your arsenal, but I can beat you.
Yeah.
No problem. That's like he's really smart and just better than you think he is. Dude is OP. Moving
Somebody
on.
somebody that is way better than everybody thinks he is, and it's just mostly because of how much screen time he got and the way it was presented.
At an epic lack of swagger.
Yeah, is Hitoshi Shinso. So for those of you that have not watched My Hero Academia, I think he's the second round opponent in the first tournament arc for Deku. He's the guy that has effectively, was it like, it's more than mind control, right? It's like full body control.
It's I'm trying to think of the best way to describe like a simple description, but like um kind of. I don't remember how long it lasts. Is the thing.
It's not short.
I know it lasts a while, so it's like basically he can temporarily control people.
Yeah.
He can because he gives directions.
Yeah. So the way the power works is that if you say a word to him,
Yeah, if you just respond to him at
if you
all.
respond to any of his talking, he gets full control of you for some non-trivial amount of time. Uh, it's busted. But Deku, because he's got this dumb power, overrides it, and it's stupid. Which again, I like Deku in the early seasons. I like the early seasons, but this is also like I have two problems with this character. I'm gonna take a minute. One, Deku is very smart, and Deku gets the tech on how to beat this guy, and immediately doesn't do it, which groan. The other is, why doesn't all for, or it's not all for one. What's the reverse? There's the opposite.
One for all.
What? Why doesn't one for all get this guy? This is like a power that is made to be villainous, to the point that Hitoshi talks about how he feels like he was almost like destined to be a villain. How does one for all not eat this guy? He was on a stage. He could have seen what he did. This power is so busted. Anyway,
Fair question.
one of my many other problems with the expansiveness of the show.
I mean
Although
that
it was
that one I'm more willing to let go, seeing as it's like he's a student at the place that's like heavily guarded.
sure.
I mean, because if you're gonna go with like kind of that logic, it's like why doesn't one for all just roll up and kidnap Deku and kill him?
I mean, dude, he takes on like a bajillion people.
But he doesn't. He doesn't do it while they're like in that space.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Sure. Whatever. Moving on. Sad that he was underutilized for having such a busted power, and it's sad that people look at him and go, "Oh, Deku beat him." So blah blah blah. It's like this guy's power is cracked. Deku should have, like, they could have made him better, and they could have made Deku smarter and had an interesting fight. Where
They
like Hitoshi is like talking shit and trying to bait him. Instead, he
yeah,
says like three words, and then like Deku's like, "Bah, cuz good," and then gets got, but then beats it because
because one
shonen
for all is
logic,
for
I
all for one
guess.
is busted and has
Yeah.
extra layers.
Either way,
Either
my
way,
gripe aside, Hitoshi, I love you. I'm sorry that your creator
Also,
doesn't love
he
you as much
gets
as
he
I do.
gets kind of busted later because he starts using like a voice modulator.
Oh, he comes back around. That's good.
He does. He comes back for like a little bit, and then he uses like a voice modulator, so he sound like he'll make quick recordings of other people and
Mm-hmm.
play it back, and if they respond to it, because it's still technically him talking.
Oh, wild.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, that's cheating. I like it.
I like that they gave him a second chance. All right, good on you guys. Now, if only you could make cohesive storylines. All right, moving on.
If only you could make damage do something.
Yeah.
I gotta stop.
Mm.
Um, so one of the other, I gave an unsung hero of Marvel. I got to give one for DC. Less unsung. He just hasn't gotten like the proper coverage he probably deserves. Is Martian Manhunter? Dude is actually busted. Um, and has one of the saddest comic book storylines ever. Um, most Martians are dead now. Yay! But Martian Manhunter's big thing is he can shapeshift into basically anything, and he can regenerate from almost not existing. Like I think at one point Batman says, "I don't know how you could kill him." And he's like, "I don't think you can." Um, he can also do a lot of like standard. He can survive the vacuum of space. He can blast things with energy. He can fly, and he's just and I think he can manipulate emotions as well. But he has he a lot of people in the DC universe are very scared of him and like, what if he goes rogue? I don't know how we stop him actually. Like, I don't actually know how we can go. I think in the most egregious version of his healing factor, I think he is regenerated from a single cell.
God damn.
Yeah, like I think basically he got hit with like a nuke and still came back. So it's like I think Superman isn't convinced he could completely eradicate him quick enough. Like the only real weakness that Martian Manhunter has is like a psychological fear of fire. Because it's how a lot of his species died.
Seems
Like
valid.
yeah. So, but yeah, he is outrageously strong, and he is turned into a giant green like space dragon in the comics, and it's so fucking cool. Like we need more of this. I want more big green space dragons. All right,
Well, things that I would
who's
like
next?
more of is more respect for my girl of the squirrel. Talk about Squirrel Girl!
The Marvel meme.
Doreen Green, bitch. Doreen, dude, I know she's a meme, but also she's beaten Thanos by herself.
We don't know why.
Because squirrels are busted and there's a lot of them.
15 squirrels beat Emrakul. Yeah.
Yeah. It was more than that beat Thanos, to be fair. Also, she kind of has.
I looked into it, by the way. They don't give context. You just roll up on her having beaten the piss out of Thanos and apparently saved the multiverse. No context needed. That's all. That's all you get. Yep. She just won apparently. She could just beat
facts
Thanos
to know about
in a
squirrels
fist fight.
And why they're busted. If you drop a squirrel from space and it has like enough oxygen that doesn't suffocate, or drop it inside Atmo, and it lands on Earth, it's gonna die. Do you know how?
It suffocates.
No. It's gonna starve.
Oh, it starves. That's right.
Yeah. They can fall that far. They are so light that they reach critical mass or critical speed or whatever it is.
Terminal velocity.
Terminal velocity, thank you. And that doesn't kill them. Just like wrap your head around that for a second. All right, now back to Squirrel Girl. She can control all squirrels. She is as fast as agile and has the reflex speed of a squirrel. If you've ever seen a squirrel, pretty fucking fast. So in many ways, she's kind of like comparative to Spider-Man in that she might have like similar powers, but not tech, but also has mind control over a species. So anyway, Doreen Green, I love you, baby. I hope other people learn too.
She also has a sidekick. I forget the squirrel's name, but she barters with Galactus to not eat Earth. And her sidekick kind of argues against him like says you should eat Earth because apparently there's a planet that just has a ton of nuts on it and he wants to go there.
Tippy toe.
Tippy toe.
Because of course that's
Because of course, yeah, like the writers just had fun with Squirrel Girl. It's kind of adorable. Honestly.
It's awesome. It's what comic books should be, and you should know more about her. But before that, who should they know more about?
Clayface. Clayface is hard unrespected.
Yes, sir.
Like Clayface is one of the cooler kind of rogues gallery villains for Batman, and he is such an awesome dude. Because like, all right, first things first, he could just look like anybody.
Yep.
Perfectly. Like he could be convincing to be anyone. He has walked around masquerading as Joker. He has walked around masquerading, I think, as Bruce.
Yep.
Excuse me. He's walked around masquerading as basically anybody else. And people don't know.
And he does it perfectly. He also, I believe he sounds like them when he does it. I believe he becomes an exact replica, including to like the inside of their body. So that thus their vocal cords and all that are the
same. Within reason. He can mimic it perfectly because he can adjust his own body composition. Oh yeah, speaking of which, he can just be a liquid.
Yep.
He can also then just be solid. He can be semi-permeable.
It's like also a strong solid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you punched a brick of clay. It does not give way.
No.
Yeah, he can quickly form himself into just be a living arsenal. He can't, like, because he's made of clay, he's really hard to kill with conventional means. Like, what are you going to stab a brick of clay?
Yeah.
Like
he just goes back into being a liquid state. Like anytime you try to stab him, shoot him, it's like it slows down, doesn't go through, doesn't hit anything.
Really, the only thing you can really do to him is freeze him.
Yep.
Like you can freeze him or super burn him. Like you have to hit really high temperature extremes to really mess with him. That's if you can't just sink to the ground and fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll take it.
I hope there's not a pore in the ground, otherwise I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Also, he's super hard to find.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want to be found, you can't.
Yeah. If he gets away, you do not know who you're chasing anymore.
Yeah. You don't know who you're chasing, or if you're chasing anyone, he could have just fucked off into a tunnel.
Like he could just look like a piece of the sidewalk.
Yeah, he just became another brick in the wall.
Yeah, literally. Like yeah, Clayface is pretty busted. I think he can also get scattered around. Like you could detonate him, and he'll just kind of recollect for the most part. Like it's really hard to actually do meaningful damage to Clayface.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, he can't, he's not going to threaten Superman. It's like, no, but he is awful to deal with if you're not one of the greats, you know. So Clayface is dope. I'm so glad he was one of the antagonists for Arkham City, which was awesome.
Well, speaking of other characters that are dope and not portrayed as such, we've got Rogue from any X-Men live-action movie. Now, those of you that grew up watching the X-Men animated TV show, you know how busted she was. Literally, like, early on, you see her backstory. She nearly KOs Captain Marvel. She retains all powers that she ever steals. Not for a while, forever. If she takes your power, even when you get it back, she still has that in her bank. Thus, she's still able to fly and punch a bus, even though the other person isn't dead. In the show, they show it, they take away the power for a second, and she gets to, like, borrow it. Nope. She's just filling up the library, baby. It's so fucking powerful.
I thought she kept it for, like, a week or something. I thought it had, like, actually a time.
Well, it might be depending on how long she holds the power on someone else. But, like, she has Captain Marvel. She didn't start off with the ability to fly and, like, fucking superhuman strength. She stole that, and then she has that for her whole entire run. So, I don't know what the limitations are, but I think it might be, like, arc to arc dependent. Because she's always, in every arc, she's able to fly. And she took that. She didn't start with that. That's not hers. So I don't know the exact specifics of it, but it's a lot more than like, oh, let me borrow it for a second while you're fucking passed out on the floor. Which that does happen. She does fucking rinse people with that power, which is also busted. But then the ability to just use it and strip somebody of it, fucking busted. Where in the show, she's just seen as this sad story. the reality is she is like one of the motherfuckers of the show.
Hmm. So I've got one that's I've got a couple from this franchise, but it is some of the coolest kind of superpowers in it because Worm has some of the wildest shit ever. I love it. Um, and one of the fun ones is Clock Blocker, which yes, it's meant to sound like that, very very deliberately, and I love why is because they when they got introduced as a hero troop, he did something that was like inappropriate just to piss off like the management, just to be a petty teenager, which love it. So Clockwalker's whole shtick is that he can effectively freeze something in time, so it cannot move for like 5 minutes,
Damn.
and nothing will move it. Like if he freezes something in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
you could hit it with a train, and it won't go anywhere. The train will break.
Okay.
It is fixed. Um, and so like a lot of what he does is he tries to like he'll walk around like a big fucking leaf of paper, like a pad of paper, and just like make impromptu prisons around people, things like that. Or if he can touch you, he can just freeze you for 5 minutes, and like everyone can get around you and surround you, and he can make effectively a jail cell for you, whatever. So
Sheesh.
it's decent. The problem is like he's not super fast, he's not super strong. If you just shoot him, he's got a problem. He's not bulletproof. Like there's times where someone just walked about like I think at one point someone just walks but hits him with like a pipe, and he just kind of goes down because well, getting
Might
hit
move
with a
hard.
lead pipe really hurts. But his power's kind of busted
Yeah.
because when you can make things immovable that are almost invisible, people don't think about it or the ramifications therein.
So they just end up running into like it's the mime reality to the max, or they just like make an invisible wall and then you run into it.
Kind of. So the main character of Worm is really good at clever solutions. And so when they're fighting effectively this Titan, she puts a length of thread on top of a building in front of them, and she has Clock Blocker freeze it. So the person basically sprints full tilt into immovable garroting wire and nearly cuts themselves in half. Shit like that. Because it's really
Oh,
hard to notice a
I'm
piece of
scared.
fishing wire.
I'm scared. What
Yeah,
the
this
fuck?
is like, oh, oh my. Yeah, it's like so basically when someone hooks him up with the clever kind of lethal salute, like lethal kind of problem solving, it's like, oh, that power is nasty. Good lord. So yeah, I just think his power is fucking dope, and it's cool that when you meet him, he doesn't get to use it fully, and then later he actually gets to kind of
Yeah,
utilize it.
you get to like watch it percolate.
Yeah,
Nice. Sadly, someone's powers who we didn't get to see percolate because fucking X-Men First Class just decided to stunt the growth of one of the most busted mutants in all existence. We got up next Darwin. So for those of you who saw X-Men First Class, you'll remember this character played by that one guy from like the fourth season of House or whatever, where
oh
he just
yeah,
has this cool power. He's a cabbie, and then he dies to Kevin's Bacon character. Sorry, Kevin Bacon's character, not Kevin's Bacon character.
it's so delicious.
It's delicious, not very nutritious. Darwin's superpower is lightly explained in the show, but not well exampled of how powerful it is. So Darwin's ability is to adapt to any circumstance. There's fire, he becomes fireproof. There's,
So
he gets
it,
thrown in a
it's it's a little more niche. It's adapting to the environment,
yeah,
but he can be very generous with what he determines as his environment.
true. So I guess in that regard, yes, maybe the Kevin's character could have killed him, but like, Darwin So Darwin gets thrown in water and like gets like teleported to the bottom of the ocean. His body within seconds learns how to breathe underwater. He gets lit on fire. Is a fiery environment. He adapts to it. He becomes fireproof.
He gets
He,
yeeted into the void of space. He doesn't
yeah,
need air.
it no longer. And this isn't a power, by the way, that goes away. Once exposed, he has it indefinitely. So once he goes into space and his body adapts, it doesn't revert. So he's always unable or unneeding to breathe. It's like he is arguably the most unkillable mutant in the series. And for them to be taken out by a power that is strong, also misrepresented. The
Grossly.
character, I'm trying to remember the name of the character, but hold on, I need to look this up.
Shit. What?
Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah.
What's his? Doesn't he have a nickname? I thought he had like a pseudonym or something like that. Nope. All right, he just goes by Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Shaw,
Oh,
to be fair, busted.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. Darwin is the power of reactive evolution. His body adapts to any situation or environment he's placed in.
So
Never
even more
mind.
reason he should never have died.
Yeah, he's basically unkillable.
Yep. Sebastian Shaw is this busted character who can take any kinetic energy that is forced upon him and store it. He still takes the damage, but is kind of immortal-ish to the point where Colossus gets in a fight with Sebastian Shaw and beats him so hard that Colossus gets tired. When Colossus finally gets tired, Sebastian Shaw stands up and fucking turns him into a Rubik's Cube. Like, not literally, but damn close. He just fucking whoops Colossus's ass. The guy's ability is correct. That being said, he doesn't get to make balls of energy. He just gets to be like the
He just stores kinetic energy.
yeah. He's like the most busted punching bag that ever existed. To the point where I believe the way other people have beaten him in the past is they just don't fight him because he's not like he has to, if he doesn't have his crew there to pump him up, and they will literally just beat the shit out of him before a fight, which is hilarious. They'll just like hit him with trucks and shit, and they're like,
Yeah.
"All right, we're ready to go." They just don't have to interact with him. They just like put him in a hold, and then he's done. Just fucking funny. But so I guess on the reverse side, Sebastian Shaw was shown as being overpowered, but Darwin, like we're saying, completely correct. Can adapt to literally anything. He is the best improv performer of all time. Can adapt to any situation, and they should have adapted him better to that movie. Curse you, John Favreau.
He has converted his body into pure energy.
He is one with the Buddha.
He's morphed into a sponge when being shot at. Like, like what the fuck? Yeah, no, Darwin is so invincible. It's kind of nuts.
Busted.
Yeah. Something that is low key OP is emotional manipulation. So in Mistborn, allomancy is really cool. I don't need to get into all of it, but two of the metals that people can use are brass and zinc. I think are the two, and they're called rioters and soothers. And so what they do is they have very similar function, just in opposite capacities. So a rioter inflames your emotions. They can make you angry, or they can make you sad, or they can make you something. Versus a soother can diminish the other emotion, so they can kind of numb you out. And so they both. And the idea is that for soothers, one of the main characters is a soother, and so he will highlight other emotions by eliminating others because everybody is a confluence of emotions. So it's like if I mute some of you being happy and I mute some of you being calm, you are anxious and angry. You are much more suggestible.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's low-key busted is because every interaction he has with somebody, they don't know if he's fucking with them. Because they don't know if he's actively tinkering with their emotions or if he's just talking.
Yeah.
And he's like, and you'll never know. That's the trick. That's the trick. I don't have to tell you. You don't get to know. you are clueless. And so you'll do exactly what I want. It's like, oh my God, get the fuck out of here, man. Like,
Fucking run, bitch.
yeah. The best part is later in the series, somebody starts doing it kind of to him, who's a rioter, and so she kind of keeps inflaming his emotions because she wants him to like her, and he catches on to it, and he's like, "Don't you fucking dare! Like, this is my game. Don't you dare take this." But yeah, like he effectively convinces a room of people to join stuff and to do things for him because he just nudges them the right way. It's not overt. It's a little suggestible nudge, and suddenly he's a room full of people who are converted to his cause because, you know, he can ease away some suspicion and he can ease away some, some misgivings, and well, then he sounds pretty damn trustable when you're not concerned about it. It's so cool. Like it's the best, and it wasn't the other fun thing is they do show it at its extreme.
Okay.
Because they have the I forget what they call him. I mean, he's the big bad for a while, but he basically has that steroided out, and so he just walks in, and the main character goes, "She just can't feel anything."
Huzzah!
And she's just like, "Oh my God!" Like, she's like, "I should be panicking, and I'm not. I can't feel anything." And he does it to a crowd of people, just like so that nobody, because like people are threatening to riot, and he's just like, "Stop." They're just like, "What are we angry about? I don't know. I guess we'll go
the
home
world's
now."
best therapist.
They're just like, it's like he just gave everyone a big hit of Xanax. Like, go home. Like, okay. So,
Fucking wild.
emotional manipulation, super cool. Moving on.
You know, it'd be really cool if there was more than one of me. I could get so
No, it
much
wouldn't.
done.
Sorry.
Ouch.
Sorry. Just had to.
You know, man, that was.
Got him. I shouldn't be this amused at myself.
So I was trying to do this cool lead into multiple man until my fucking host roasted me. Oh, dick holster. It's gonna be so good. I practiced it in the mirror and everything. So multiple man is a character that is part of X-Force at least one time, and he has the ability to make copies of himself. Neat. Is it like Naruto where there goes copies and they go nope, they're just clones and they can live on for like as long as they want until death. So one of them ends up getting away at one point, and this is like one of the issues with the powers. They have their own, like they are modeled after the main character, but then experiences will change them, and so their brains aren't identical, and so they will occasionally act differently, which is good when fighting against them because it makes them hard to predict, but bad when you're trying to control your own copies and they're like, I feel like donuts today. We're like, you're like, we're on a diet.
Nope, eclair.
Yeah. So to one point, one of them, like he makes a bunch of them and a couple of them fuck off and he doesn't know where they are anymore. To then he runs into people who are like, hey, we've met before. He goes, I don't know you. That's my purse.
That's my purse.
But when he is able to envelop them back, he gains all their knowledge and their experience. I guess is argument. Luckily, none of their weight. So it doesn't matter if he declares, it just matters if they remembered the menu. But if you think about that, one, in fighting and combat, that's busted, but also in knowledge, that's busted. You can just make 40 copies of yourself, go to a library, and get after it.
He can just learn 40 times faster than you.
Yeah. Granted, the budget's a little higher. You got to buy 40 eclairs instead of one, but, you know.
I mean, but if you just did for an hour, you don't have to eat within an hour, but I mean, you can effectively have almost you can have a full work week.
Yep.
In 1 hour.
In 1 hour.
Like, and I think he could do a lot more. Honestly, I don't know if
Yeah.
there's like a cap on multiple man.
Uh, I curious. He has made a okay. It's unknown what the limits of his powers are, if there are any, but he's been shown to create over 100 copies of himself.
2.5 work weeks, 1 hour. Shazam!
No, that's a different superhero.
Ah.
Wow. But I
All
mean,
right.
like, so he gains the knowledge if he remerges with his duplicates and they're still alive and conscious. So if they pass out or they die, he doesn't get the intel. However, if they just then they do. And I believe it works the other way. I don't believe there's a central. I think effectively any one of them can go into any one of them. So you have to kill all of them to kill him, I believe. I don't believe they are copies as much as they are carbon copies.
No, it's not a central multiple man. Yeah. As long as there is one surviving, it can keep propagating.
Busted. Who you got up next, homie?
All right, I have another one from Worm, and this one is called Accord. Accord is wildly undervalued. So
Always
and
big
when you
black.
hear his power, you'll think, well, yeah, that sounds silly. His power is problem solving, which on at first glance that does not sound that impressive.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't.
Okay. In 6 hours, Accord sits down and he writes out a 30-point plan on how you could solve world hunger.
Hmm.
Alone. 6 hours, he's got a binder. That's the plan. He can literally
He's
solve
got a
world hunger.
trapper keeper.
Like
Get out of this man's way.
he basically can just the more complicated a problem he's presented with or a question he is asked, the better and more detailed a solution he can come up with. So he's not great off the cuff, but if you need broad strokes, he can figure out any solution. He
Damn.
literally can solve the world's biggest problems with just time in an empty room.
Does it scale? Is it always the same amount of time? How does the time factor work in?
It's not the time is wonky.
Okay.
I think part of it, like why it takes so long for him to solve world hunger, is because it takes a lot of time for him to write it down.
There's just so many people that are hungry.
Yeah, literally, he's just like, these are all the world leaders I need to get involved. This is all the people I need to get involved. This is the amount of man hours I need. Like everything, every detail is charted. He has a comprehensive guide to solve world hunger that he made on his own. Like he can also do other kind of practical applications. Like he can make very purposeful suits. So when people ask him like, or say like, I need a suit made, he goes, what do you need it to do? And so he can go, okay, how can I make a suit that is supposed to be bulletproof, supposed to be lightweight, supposed to do XYZ? He can make a suit for it. So it's like one of the big things he does for his like villainous empire
That's
is he just takes a
amazing.
shit ton of money and he'll make you a suit. That's like his big business deal he does for people. But like that is low key busted.
Yeah.
Just go, how do I beat this guy? Let me write you a fucking comprehensive 10-point plan. Like,
got a 90-point plan. Sit down.
Yeah, like it's when you think about it, if you just had he can provide you the answer to essentially any question you want to know,
Yeah.
irrespective of complexity. What? Like that is the most powerful magic 8-ball in history. Like what the fuck? Like it literally doesn't matter how complicated a problem it is. He can solve it.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't sound like the power of problem solving. It doesn't sound that great on paper until you actually learn how big it can be. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, he literally goes into like villainy because he tries to in Worm, he tries to tell the government that he's like, this will solve world hunger. And like tries to hand them a binder, and they're like, get the fuck out of here, you lunatic. And he's like, man, fuck you guys. Like
I'm trying to do the thing with the stuff.
Like,
and you guys are.
I'm doing your job for you. Fuck you guys. I'm gonna take money and make villains super suits. All right, who's next?
All right, so this one's a bit of a seemingly off topic. We got Mary Poppins, the witch that was. Mary
Best
Poppins
best
has
nanny in Britain.
best best nanny around. So Mary Poppins has an item similar to that many other characters have. Hers is just the most emblematic, which is a dimensional storage object, aka her purse.
A bitch is a bag of holding.
Yep. Having a bag of holding and Mary Poppins purse, Scaramander's suitcase, whichever item you want it to be, of this always weighing the same amount but of indefinite insides is such a busted item. You never need a house. You never need to pay rent. You never are without anything.
I don't know
It's
about never need to pay rent. That's not quite the same as having four walls and a ceiling, but
Well, it depends which version you go with. For in Fantastic Beasts, it literally is like a fucking the size of a fucking zoo. Like he can just set it down in a fucking locker and just get inside.
yeah.
So
Right.
it depends on which version you're going with.
Fair.
But like you never are without anything. Ostensibly, you can live in it if you wanted to. You like there's so many things that you don't have to get anymore.
No,
And
you're
it's
just you never have
fucking
to be without anything you might need for a circumstance.
I would argue it's the most busted item that you could of these that you could get in the world we live in without, changing your life for the awkward.
Yeah,
Like if you get superpowers tomorrow, you kind of have a responsibility. Also, the world just got very different for you.
yeah.
Like kind of it might suck, it might be great. I don't know. Getting a bag of holdings just kind of
It is
dope.
it is the ultimate convenience.
Yeah.
Shopping at
That's how they
Costco
would
is so
sell it.
easy.
That's how they would sell it as an infomercial. The ultimate convenience item. We have the bag of holding here, folks. It goes forever. Anyway, before I try to sell you an object for 3 easy payments of $9.99, what you got up next, Bros Kinkowski?
Shit's going cheap. I'll take 8.
Definitely is one of those things that has diminishing returns. What do you do with the second one? Put it in the first one?
Yeah.
Now that's a hat on a hat. A bag of holding within a bag of holding is the real hat on a hat.
Anyway, Beast Boy is too memed on, and guy is awesome. It's not fair. He's the butt of too many jokes about the Teen Titans.
Fact.
But like Beast Boy, low key, kind of slaps. Because he's not just limited to I can turn into a dinosaur. Like I can turn into a snake. I can turn into a rhino. He can turn into a dinosaur. I spoiled my own reveal there. But like also he can regenerate really well. Like, no, he's not Martian Manhunter, but yeah, he can regenerate an arm in like 10 seconds, which is still insane. He can change at will. He can change basically to suit his environment. He can change into things you don't think should be possible, like a tapeworm, or things like an alien. As long as he has seen it, he can become it.
Yeah.
Also including other people, except he'd still be green, so he doesn't see much purpose in doing that.
Valid.
Yeah, so that's the one caveat, is he's always green, which apparently he tried to infiltrate Darkseid's forces, and he was annoyed that none of them were green.
God damn it, why aren't you any green?
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Green Lantern have the same issue. Shit, there ain't green here at all.
So yeah, he is much stronger than people think, because he's got some nasty forms he could take if he really wants to. He also could just throw down pretty hard even without being an animal. He can also then just box you as a gorilla. Get fucked. Like, yeah, and he doesn't really get tired either, which is kind of insane. He's just got endurance for days. He also dates Raven, which OP as fuck. Like he has the best big goth titty GF. So
the best boo in the game.
yeah, exactly. They are the best couple out of DC. I will hear no responses.
That's adorable. You got the geek with the goth. It's great.
All right, who is next?
Yeah, we got me making a book reference, folks.
Oof,
Buckle
oof,
up.
oof. Damn.
So this is from the series The Rune Lords. It's like an 8-book series. I think it's being resolved with the book that's coming out this coming year. It's by hold on, who was name? Like a day ago. It was created by David Farland. Rest in peace. Great series. Would highly recommend. Uh, in the first book, we are introduced to the big bad in Wolf Lord Raj Aten. Raj is taking over the world. Is going from city to city and taking it over, and people are perplexed why. And then they show up to the main castle where our characters are placed, and we find out how. He comes and he goes, "Yo, give me your shit. This doesn't have to be hostile. We can be friends. You can be my, I'm gonna rule this land. You can be my subservience, or you can be 7 feet under. It's up to you." And they're like, yeah, go fuck yourself. You know, we'll fight you. We've got a castle. We've got a standing army too. Let's dance." And then somebody from the parapet who is like, okay, so a little bit of backstory before I get into this further. The way the power system works in the Rune Lord series is on conscription. So characters gain powers by taking them from other people. So if somebody's beautiful, a princess could get a conscription for her beauty, and she would either pay or give a job or give that as a job to the person who gave them that conscription. All conscriptions have to be willing. They cannot be under duress. They are often, given by money or by sometimes threatening, but it can't be like it can't be a threat to the person. I think it has to be a threat exterior to the person, if I remember the lore correctly.
Hmm.
But it can't. You can't force them to do it. They have to do it willingly to some degree. So one of the archers, who's this like knight badass, I think Barristan Selmy from Game of Thrones, who has 300 runes of strength. The guy is yoked. Fires a bolt from a bow that no other man in the kingdom can draw the string. He fires it at him, and the guy catches it. Oh fuck, this guy's strong. That's how he's gonna get through. He's just gonna like smash the fucking gate. He just caught an arrow that was firing at like basically the speed of sound. Nope. Wolf Lord Rajaten has done the smartest thing and got the most busted power. As anybody knows who's played D&D and thought out how real life works. Raj has like multiple hundred conscriptions of charisma. So he just speaks to the people of the city and says, "Let me in." And they all bulldoze all the knights to open the gate for this awesome person. Even the nobles are in line to help him in. The guy has Riz locked down hard. The guy is truly the Riz Lord. And it is a great showing for any of you that have had conversations about what the best stat is. It wisdom? Is it strength? Is it intel? It's fucking charisma. It's always been charisma. Charisma's busted. Don't sleep on it. Roll high. Next.
Next is Daredevil.
Speaking of Riz.
All right.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah. Um. So two things. One, Daredevil's always shown being fucking nibbledy bimbledy, which he is. He's very acrobatic. Um. There is a misconception that his whole extra perception thing is based on sonar. It is not. He uses it, but he could also just sense things around him. like electrical currents. So
Oh shit.
yeah, no, his sensory perceptions are wild. Like he can hear differences in heartbeat. He can hear like I think depending on how you can like gland secreting, so he knows if like adrenaline hits somebody's bloodstream, so he knows they're gonna take a swing. Like he can feel like changes in the air around him. He get like his yeah. Don't ever sneak up on Daredevil if you have to actually move. It's kind of batty how
Whoa.
insane his senses are, which is why you
Yeah.
can like make something super loud and overstimulate him. Um, so like that is a limiting factor for him, but good luck. He's also way stronger than you think. Like he's just lifted a car. So there's that. Like
I really wish they had more of that in the show because they kind of do, just having him be. He's not strong, but he's not like strong.
no, he is really fucking strong. Like he's not quite Kingpin strong because
Yeah.
Kingpin is actually outrageously strong in the comics. Um,
That
but
ain't fat, baby.
though
All
Kingpin
muscle.
is just a 300-pound brick of muscle.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Daredevil is actually very very strong. I also do love the. It's kind of a fun gimmick. The fact he can just like bounce everything perfectly to hit
Yeah.
stuff. I love it. It is my. I don't know what. I don't know which author who did Daredevil started that, but it's the coolest little shtick. I just something about him bouncing a fucking baton and hitting people like halfway across the room or at a corner. Magnificent. Never take it away. I realize it's just Captain America's shield shenanigans, but with like a nightstick, and I
Yeah,
don't
but he's like
care.
blind, and I don't know. It's also moving at a different kind of angle. Like he's moving at cooler angles where like the shield is generally ricocheting in like it's I don't know. You're playing Rube Goldberg ping pong with the shield, where with the nightstick it kind of gets really kinky because it's not round. It's you're dealing
Oh,
with
it's a
a
cylinder.
you're dealing with a cylinder, which is it's cooler. That's just cooler. I don't know.
Yeah, I, I think Daredevil is a bit slept on, and I don't love some of his modern. I don't love his modern adaptations. Charlie Cox, I really like you as an actor. Some of the writing in
You?
Daredevil was great. It's some of your choreography. I'm sorry, my guy. We gotta do better. I want to be convinced you can actually punch me.
So I need to look up the exact definition of this next power. But next up, we've got Apocalypse, which mostly, other than the film version where it was like a little underwhelming, like kind of lives up to its name a bit for the most part. But one of the things that people don't realize is he has a superpower called technopathy. It's a psychic ability to control electronic machinery and or otherwise read electronic signals, and especially hardware.
He's a machine
So
learning on
what
a person.
yeah, well not only that, but like he's doing Magneto what Magneto does with simple metals and he's doing it with complex machinery.
Yep.
He's gaining all the information. He's able to talk to them. He's kind of like that one kid from Heroes, except all grown up and villainous as shit.
And jacked.
And jacked. And immortal. And like he's also got like so he's got biomorphing, he's genius level intelligence, superhuman strength, stamina, blah blah blah, energy and matter manipulation. He can fly. He's immortal. He's invulnerable, and also just to add it on his telekinesis, he is like one of the ultimate big bads. Guy's fucking crazy, and has also lived for like ever. He was around when they were building the fucking pyramids,
And,
which is
and
farther along, like farther ago than you think.
I can hit my nerd card. His actual name was like En Sabah Nur.
Yeah,
Why do I know this?
because it's fucking awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, because he's just like a dude in Egypt and gets I'm trying to remember the name of the technology that he finds. Fuck, I don't remember.
Celestial tech.
Thank you.
Thus busted. He has angelic technology.
Yeah, he is. I mean, yeah, like you said, the name is Absolutely true. Technopathy is broken, though.
Yes. And lastly on this busted list, who do we have?
I had to include it because his power is so cool, and I had to talk about it. So, there's a character in Hunter x Hunter, however you want to say it, that shows up named Knuckles. He is not a hedgehog or an
Damn.
echidna, or whatever Knuckles is in Sonic.
He's an echidna.
So, Knuckles has the least combat focused KO gimmick ever. So, the whole shtick is he hits you and he gives you a loan. So, he hooks onto something called Hack-Aware, which, based on how hard he hits you, he gives you a loan of Nen, so a loan of power.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do any physical damage to you. It doesn't hurt you in any way, shape, or form. It gives you power. And it has interest. Every 10 seconds, it is a 10% cumulative interest. If he hits you again, he adds more. You get loaned more. If you hit him, you give some of the loan back. So all he has to do is hit you and run away from you. Because if the interest, because it keeps climbing every 10 seconds, if the interest eclipses more Nen than you could donate back, you're bankrupt. It basically calls the IRS on you. And it locks you out of using Nen for a month. So for the people that have superpowers in Hunter x Hunter, they are now regular ass bitches for 30 days.
Oh, I hate it when I go back to being regular ass bitches.
Yeah, because he hits you once. All he has to do is hit you once and not take enough damage that you can outpay the loan. Also, while you're repaying the loan, you can't actually hurt him. You can't do physical damage to him. All you can do is give Nen back.
That's wild.
Yeah, so eventually it'll outpace you because compounding interest, in the words of Albert Einstein, is a mathematical explosion. So eventually it will just be a bigger number than you can keep up with. You will not be able to outpace it. And it doesn't have a ceiling. It can theoretically just lock anybody out of Nen. Doesn't matter how much you have, as long as it just has enough time to continue to build interest, because numbers can keep going up. It's so cool. Like, it's such a dope gimmick.
It sounds like the best gimmick that was written by somebody that used to work at a bank.
Yeah, like some fucking actuary. Like, come up with a superpower. He's like, I got it. It also just
what?
has this
They were
adorable, like, so the Hack-Aware itself is like this little, it kind of looks like Beamo in some ways, with like little wings and it like floats behind someone. And just keeps saying, it's like, it's time, interest added. It like ticks up. It's so adorable. It's bizarre. Chikan des.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of does look like. Actually, you know what it looks like? It doesn't look like. It looks a little bit like BMO. It more looks like the temp bot from fucking Bee and Puppy Cat.
Fair.
Except it's way cuter.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorozoro Chikan des.
Well, to pay off our interest, we're gonna have to throw it to an ad break. But please do come back after, as we've got some lovely messages for y'all.
Have you ever wanted to feel some mainstream appeal as a nerd? Have you wanted to indulge in a little bit of power fantasy? Do you love when the good guy wins in the end, and most things wrap up with a nice little bow on top? Might I interest you in some comic book movies? With them tasty comic book movies, you get the first grade moral lessons with explosions and punches, punctuation to emphasize. Add in some clear expectations of who's your villain versus who is our hero, and you found yourself a winning formula that will undoubtedly appeal to the masses. So what are you waiting for? Go embark on that hero's journey to get the MacGuffin. It's coming to a theater near you this summer.
Hey! I see you there.
You do? Get out of their computer.
Okay. But can we at least tell them what cool shows we've been watching recently?
Yes, we can.
Yay!
So my recommendation this week, get, get ready for the bloodshed, is Invincible. Um, it is starting. I have heard. So I have watched the first season. I have nothing to quote Moist Critical. I cannot suck this show's dick enough. I cannot suck this dick show enough. I don't know. It's great. Animation is a little bit patchwork at points. Don't care. Story is great. Voice acting is phenomenal.
Voice acting do go hard.
Yeah, voice acting. They put a lot of money into that voice acting, and God, it shows. In both the best and worst ways. J.K. Simmons scares the piss out of me, and it's great. Season 2, I've heard nothing but rave reviews. It is more of what you want out of Invincible, and it's starting up the. They had to kind of split season 2 into 2 parts because of production reasons, and production issues and difficulties. But it's starting up soon, so I'm going to start watching season 2, and I'm very excited. What about you?
I might have to make a review of that. I might need to watch season 2 as well.
Yeah,
But in the interim, on my flight back from Chicago, I decided to watch the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith show. Now, both of us are fans of the original film with peak Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
It was a good romp.
It was a fantastic romp. It's still a banger. Unlike their relationship, it holds up. But
Ooh.
yeah, Sedge.
You're not wrong, but ooh.
Yeah. The new show, however, is not trying to replicate that. It's just playing in the same sandbox that was left behind.
Sure.
It's this idea of spies, relationships, not alternate worlds, but like, the underbelly, the upside down of the world we live in, how that could play out. And it's really neat. It's very inventive. It's kind of fun. Intentionally awkward, but in a very intriguing sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd recommend giving it a go. I think the first episode so far seems to be pretty emblematic. Only a couple episodes in, but I fuck with it. It's fun and ponderous. It's not clean. It's not chic. It's also not like turbo dirty either. It's very much doing its own thing. Nice. This also was created by, to some extent, Donald Glover, who I am a huge cuck for.
You are a huge fan of.
Oh, love him to death. You want to come over? I'll make you dinner, Donnie. And Hiro Murai, who I just absolutely love and have infinite respect for. They both do great work. If you want examples of their work, just watch basically any part of Atlanta. I think both of them did almost all of it. And yeah, stop listening to me talk about the show. Go watch the show. Give it a look.
Mm.
Any games you've been playing recently? Any songs perhaps you've been listening to?
I have been playing far too much Last Epoch, which I love a good ARPG. God knows I've played too much Path of Exile in my lifetime. I'll continue to play more.
And you can't stop me.
Exactly. But Last Epoch is... I will say 2 things. One, it is not perfect. It has got some issues. It has got some issues with writing that I don't like. it does time travel and it does it poorly, and I don't like it. And I'm going to get my 2 gripes out of the way really quick.
Okay.
The campaign has a villain that can fuck with time in the same way that you can, and you can bounce between periods, and they don't utilize that villain well, and it pisses me off. Two, they've had some like issues with server stability and some instancing issues and things like that. It's a fairly small company. It's a this is like their big 1.0 release, came like last week, and
this is their first game. This is their only game on Steam.
I think so.
No, I'm looking at it as legitimately their only
like 11th hour games. Yeah. I know a guy who actually works for them.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so
do they treat him well at least?
He hasn't complained about it, so they did.
So either yes, or they have a gun to his head and are watching him at all times.
They did do. Apparently, they had to do a lot of fucking crunch time when the game released because its servers were just shit in the bed.
Sure.
So he worked like fucking 5 20-hour days in a row or something silly. It was.
I mean, brutal. I get it, but also trying to hopefully they don't do that in the future.
It was literally just because the game was unplayable.
Yeah. But like, I think that's one of those things that if that happens once or
Yeah,
like
I mean,
once a
and
game, it's kind of understandable. It's
to
when it's
my
all
to
the
my
time.
knowledge, that is literally only because of that extreme circumstance.
Yeah.
So I don't think that is reflective of how they treat their
Yeah.
employees as a whole. I
That's good.
I've heard like Muffin is very much liked them. He says they're great to work for, whatever. So two gripes aside, I have had a lot of fun with it. I play a Beastmaster who runs around with a pack of squirrels that murder everything.
Can't confirm.
10 out of 10. Yeah, it's adorable. The chittering will haunt me till the end of time. But yeah, it's a very good in between like the simplicity of Diablo and the outrageous complexity of Path of Exile. It's a lot more intuitive. It's still got a decent amount of options, and it's got a decent amount of content you can kind of smash through. So it's fun.
Awesome. So my rec for the week is Raising the Skate by Speedy Ortiz. If you're a fan of Slothrust, this is like somewhat analogous to them. Or if you like Avant Gardner, I think is her name, kind of similar vibes. Lots of fun. It's really kind of low key, kind of meandering, ponderous. I don't think my co-host would like it that much. I'd recommend
Probably
you give
not.
it a listen, but I don't think it's his ball of wax. Nicely, however, it is pretty on its surface what you're getting, so you don't have to listen to it. It's not like there's like a weird intro that was kind of fun, but oh, it's so discordant with the rest of the song. Nope, it is what it is pretty quickly. It's great, and I would recommend it if that's your bag. And unless there is some other to dos,
I think that would be all from us. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and if you enjoyed, please feel free to
like,
comment
share,
and subscribe.
but don't forget new
Oh no.
episodes of Super Pros Bros come out the first and Saturday of every month.
Oh boy.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, what was that?
I don't know.